So in today's review, I'm going to be talking about two paddles from 4Joy, the 4Joy Premio and the 4Joy Halo. Both of these paddles were sent to me by 4Joy. They have not seen this review ahead of time, and no funds were exchanged. All these opinions are my own. So why would I review two paddles in the same video? Well, both of these paddles are from the same company, but they're constructed differently. The Premio is a Gen 3 paddle with a polypropylene core that's floating inside of a foam border, whereas the Halo is a full foam paddle, and it also has a floating core, but it's foam. So two different construction types, but from the same company. I think it makes for a good comparison. So I've put stats on the screen for you for both of these paddles. Probably the biggest difference between them is the shape. The Premio is a hybrid, whereas the Halo is an elongated paddle. They both have roughly the same length handle, and the dimensions are pretty much the same. While both of these paddles should weigh roughly the same, the Premio that I received came in at 8.4 ounces. So that was 0.3 ounces, or about a quarter of an ounce, over the top end spec of 8.1 ounces, whereas the Halo came in, it was bouncing between 7.9 and 8 ounces, so let's call it 8 ounces. So while generally a quarter of an ounce wouldn't be a big difference, where that weight ends up does affect how the paddle feels in the hand. And initially for me, the Premio felt a lot head heavier than the Halo did. Normally an elongated paddle would feel head heavier because it's a slightly larger head, but in this case it was the Premio because of the high weight. So now that I've gotten my initial impressions out of the way, let's talk about how these paddles performed. From the baseline, both of these paddles performed as I would have expected. Serves were just fine. I was able to get enough power on them, as well as being able to get the ball to dip on my serves. And drives, whether from behind the baseline or just inside the baseline, felt solid, and the paddle felt stable at all times. I didn't really feel like I was mishitting anything because of the paddle. Both of the paddles, believe it or not, the sweet spot feels about the same size on both of them. Now, I'll admit I haven't played with the Halo as much as I've played with the Premio because my wife took that thing from me pretty much right away after she played with it. In the midcourt, drops and resets were predictable. I never felt like anything was going to be popped up or that the paddles were twisting in my hands on resets from hard drives. Both of these paddles, especially the Premio, because of the additional weight, felt very stable in the hand on resets, and I didn't feel like they were twisting much. Some of that could be attributed to the grip. It's very plush and it has ribs in it. A lot of people like those because it helps them get purchase on the handle a lot better, and I did feel that it was feeling very stable in my hands, despite the fact that those ribs or ridges or whatever do feel uncomfortable in my hand most of the time. So at the kitchen line is where these paddles separated themselves. I think a lot of that is due to the extra weight of the Premio more than the shape or the performance of the paddle. Both of these paddles, when it came to dinking, felt really good. The ball came off the face predictably. When you hit the sweet spot, it did exactly what you wanted to do. They both have fairly large, forgiving sweet spots, and dinking was great. Hands battles is where I struggled with the Premio because of that additional weight. Now, that could be countered with some weight on the throat or maybe even on the end cap, but you're adding then to the overall weight. That probably would have brought this paddle up to 8.6 or even 8.7 ounces if I added another, 3 grams of weight. So that would have made the paddle fairly heavy and may not have actually sped it up very much. The Halo felt balanced, hand battles were fine, and it performed as I expected it with an elongated paddle. I did find myself trying to choke up on both of these paddles, but that's kind of normal in a firefight for me. As far as quality is concerned, both of these are performing as expected. Nothing is coming apart. There's no buzzing, there's no cracking, there's nothing like that. The Halo has gotten more use because it's become my wife's main paddle over the last month, and so she's been using it 2-3 times a week in 2 to 3 hour play sessions. As far as appearance is concerned, especially with the Premio, you can get a lot of different designs. These look great, they look fantastic, and I think that if you are looking for something that's going to make a statement on the court, definitely go with a Premio. The Halo, while it does have 2 nice colorways, they don't quite stand out as much as the Premios. So as far as value is concerned, when you factor in the price, the performance, and the warranty, I think these are a good value. They're not on the extreme low end of the cost spectrum, but they're also not way up there over $200. The Premio, I think, is on sale right now for about $135, and the Halo sells for $170. So you're getting a quality paddle for under $200. One thing to note is that the Premio is USAP certified, where the Halo is PMA approved. What that means is if you want to play in a USAP sanctioned tournament, you're probably going to want to get the Premio. I think the PMA approved program is great. They do hold up to scrutiny as far as quality and as far as specifications. This thing is not overpowered. It doesn't have a crazy amount of spin. It really is pretty much just like a USAP certified paddle. And if you're a recreational player who's not going to be in tournaments, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Get yourself a Halo. So another thing to consider as well when you purchase this paddle is that 4Joy does pay it forward. They give to Alzheimer's research, they give to the American Cancer Society, they give to the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and they give to the Ovarian Cancer Alliance. So along with your purchase, part of that money is going to go to one of these great organizations that's helping to solve some of the most devastating diseases in the world right now. So who are these paddles for? I think both of these paddles are great for intermediate to advanced players. I think a beginner could probably manage the Halo. I would lean them towards the Premio if the paddle had come in a little bit lighter. I'm sure most of them do. Most of the time, a hybrid paddle is going to perform better for a beginner than an elongated paddle. But just simply because this Premio that I received came in a little heavy, I'm going to lean them towards the Halo on this one because they had pretty similar performance metrics as far as I could tell when I was playing with them. So if you want a paddle that's going to help you stand out on the court and look really cool, the Premio series is probably going to be the one for you. If you want to support a PMA approved manufacturer, go with the Halo. Either one of these is a great purchase. They support great causes, and in the long run, you're getting a paddle that's high quality and is going to perform as expected. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out on the pickleball courts.